Hey, this is Big Skinny with Texas Backyard BBQ and more. We've got another exciting episode for you. We are getting down with some pork belly, strawberry maple glazed pork belly. It's all coming your way next. Let's get smoking. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this pork belly into some 1 inch, 2 inch squares. We don't have to be accurate. It's just, we wanna get it cubed up because the smaller we can get it, you're not definitely gonna eat it like this. So we wanna cut it up into some nice bite-sized pieces. It's gonna be like candy once you get it off the grill. And like I said, we just gotta make sure we cut clean all the way through it. Make sure you have a good sharp knife. And the trick to this is having it really cold when you cut it because it'll make it so much easier to cut. Also try to cut them uniformly because it'll cook around the same time. If you got big pieces and little pieces, you know, it's gonna take longer for the big ones to cook. The main thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we render this fat off. So we've got these cut into about 1 inch, 2 inch strips. Like I said, they're pretty close to the same size. And we're gonna continue to cut those into like 1 inch squares. So while we cut this up, we'll be back to you. As you can see, we've got it all cubed up, nice and ready to go. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our Sassy Joe's seasoning to it. Sassy Joe's, great stuff. You guys gotta get you some of this. So we're just gonna sprinkle it liberally on here because what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix all this around in this pan and make sure every nook and cranny of this pork belly is covered. You're gonna take your hands, you're gonna get good and dirty. You're gonna take it and you're just gonna make sure you get all this coated. You want all this seasoning on your pork belly here. Then we're just gonna line them up, fat side up in the pan, stack them in the pan, fat side up. A lot of people do it fat side down. I like fat side up because it's that fat renders off and it just goes, it just flows down that pork belly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let this go for about 2.5 hours until we reach an internal temperature of about 190 degrees. And then we'll come back, we'll see you. That pork belly's been out there smoking for a good while. We're gonna go ahead and get our sauce ready. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some fresh strawberries and we're gonna slice them up enough where we can get them into this blender and to blend them up. So basically we're just cutting the tops off of them, slicing them up a little bit, making them a little easier to grind up. You could definitely put them in there whole. Just make sure they get all blended together. We're gonna add them to our blender. Let's get all those little strawberries in there. We got one that got away. Just add those to the blender. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of this Grandma's molasses here. I'm just gonna dump a good portion of this in there. This is what's gonna thicken up our sauce. We're gonna take some maple syrup as well. We're gonna dump that in there. And what we're trying to replicate here is, you know when you eat those pancakes and you have that syrup, and you have your bacon on the side and that bacon accidentally gets into your syrup? That's kind of the flavor we're looking for here. We're just adding a little strawberry flavor to it. We're gonna put about a teaspoon of salt in there to counteract that sweet. All right, so we're gonna blend this up. All that goodness is coming together. Let's transfer this into the pot here. We're gonna heat our sauce up a little bit just to thicken it, maybe reduce it by about 1/3, just so it's got a real nice thick consistency. So we're gonna bring this to a boil. We're just gonna let it continue to cook. We're gonna try to reduce it to about 1/3 of its consistency. We want it to really thicken up. It's gonna make a really rich sauce. That molasses along with the maple syrup is gonna help really form a really good crust, a caramelization over that pork belly. So I'm gonna check and see if this needs anything. And we're using our fork, the backside of our fork, so we can use it twice. It does need a little bit of salt, I think. Man, that's money. Looks like that pork belly is about ready to be sauced up. You can see that color on there. It looks like a big old crispy piece of bacon. And we're gonna set it right here. Oh All right, man, those are looking really good. I mean, that almost looks like bacon right now, though, with that color, that texture. We're gonna sauce them up, get them back on the grill. We'll see after that. We've got our sauce done. Now it's time to put this all together. We're just gonna drizzle this all over. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's gonna be rolling around in there. Look at that. So we're just gonna take our hands, just gonna work it around in here, make sure everything's nice and coated. It's a little warm, but it's worth it. All right. This big boy here, get him all coated up. Look at that. That is gonna be like candy when it's all said and done. All right, we're gonna put it back on the pit barrel smoker. We'll see you in a few. Once we glazed our pork belly, it's time to pull it. We've had it on for about 15 minutes. That sauce has really had a chance to set and glaze. So we're gonna pull it off and get ready to serve it up. We're gonna set it over here. We're walking. And looky here, we have it, our strawberry maple glazed pork belly. I can smell it. It's really good, man. You need to get out and cook it for yourself. See if you enjoy it as much as we do. And speaking of enjoyment, that's what we're fixing to do right now. So until next time, this is Big Skinny with Texas Backyard BBQ and more. We'll see you. Let's get smoking.